Well, of course, you're watching. You're my mom. Hi, Mom in New Jersey. Hello, everyone. Nikki Lamberti here in Santa Rosa, California. Hope everyone is doing okay and hanging in there. I know for many reasons for many people. It's a difficult day. It's a difficult week here in Northern California. We're battling these crazy fires. So I just thought it might be fun to come to y'all for a few minutes today with something fun and light and positive, and wanted to continue this new journey of sharing different wine tips with all of you, as you all have lots of questions. And as you've seen, if you comment below, if you have any questions, this is interactive. But I just have one very simple wine tip that I want to share with you all today. Because let's just face it, it's hot out there. Many of us across the country have been battling heat waves and crazy temperatures this summer. Here in Northern California, it was 109 in parts that have never seen that temperature before. So temperature is important, especially when it comes to enjoying your wine. And one of the things that I've got questions really for years, whether it's from friends and family or people that I'm hosting at the winery, is what is the right temperature to store wines and to drink wines? So wanted to give you a quick tip on that. It's actually very simple and easy to remember. And before we finish today, I'm going to give you a link to a downloadable cheat sheet that I've put together. And this is actually one of the tips that's on there. But very simply, the proper drinking temperatures for sparkling wine, aka bubbles, for white wine, and for red wine are 45 degrees Fahrenheit, 55 degrees Fahrenheit, and 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Let me say that one more time. So sparkling wine, bubbles, 45 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah. White wine, 55 degrees. That's not refrigerator temperature, is it? And red wine, 65 degrees, which is not room temperature for most people. Most of our homes, especially if we're lucky enough to have AC right now, we're at maybe 70 to 72. So first of all, let's talk about why temperature matters. Because one of the things that I'm going to be really true to in guiding people through, learning more about wine and sort of upping their appreciation is, in the end, drink what you like, drink it how you like. But if your goal is to enjoy it more, to get the most out of whatever bottle it is that you've got for yourself, one of the things that can really make a difference is temperature. So I want to start with white wine for just a minute. We're going to talk about bubbles in a whole nother episode, but I want to talk about white, which, by the way, this is a lovely New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc that we are imbibing this evening. And the correct temperature is 55, right? So how do we measure it? If you have a meat thermometer, a kitchen thermometer, that works just fine. Um, Dude, I'm such a nerd. It literally says 55. Oh, 54. Pretty darn close. I had this in our little wine cooler, beer cooler that's built into the island in our kitchen. And it was a little cooler than this about 15 minutes ago, but I took it out, had it sitting here, and now it's actually up to just about the right temperature. In case you're curious, does a COVID thermometer work? And I call it a COVID thermometer just because this is what a lot of restaurants and wineries and airports and everything are using to check your temperature nowadays. By the way, I'm good. Does it work? No, it does not work in a glass of wine. So stick with the old-fashioned meat thermometer. So 55 degrees for a white wine. Why? Most people drink their whites too cold. Most people drink their reds too warm. I'll say it again. Most people drink their white wines too cold and the reds too warm. And let me add a rest of the sentence there. They drink them too cold or too warm to get the most out of them. So I'm going to give you an example. If this was right out of the refrigerator, which is 37, 38, 39 degrees, okay? Ooh, wow, that smells great. I don't know this wine very well. This is actually my first time trying this. Wow. If it's too cold, you don't smell as much and you don't taste as much. So if it's not a good bottle of wine, if it's something that your neighbor brought over and gifted to you and it's, not great, chill it the heck down, and, it hides a lot of the smell and it hides a lot of the flavor if you don't want to get rid of it or re-gift it. But if it's something that you actually want to enjoy, If it is at the right temperature, 55 for whites, you are just going to smell and taste more. So here's how you test this out at home. I want you to take a bottle of white, a favorite, whatever you have, and pour it in your glass right out of the refrigerator, right? Test your temperature. You're probably somewhere from 35 to 40 when that happens. And then I want you to smell the glass. Take out a little scratch piece of, pen or paper. You can even just do it in your mind. But I want you to recognize how many different notes do you smell or taste. And by notes, I mean, oh, I smell banana, I smell lemon, I smell apple, I smell grass, I smell flowers, right? And again, this is a whole nother episode that we'll get into, but there's no right or wrong when it comes to those types of things. But I want you to think about how many things you can smell and taste when a wine is cold. And then I want you to let it warm up, white wine to 55 degrees, and do the same exact thing. I guarantee you, if you're doing it right, you will smell more things. You'll have a longer list. Like, oh, I just noticed like a white pepper. Oh, I just noticed like a white flower of some kind. Oh, I just got a little pineapple. You are going to get more out of it. You're going to notice more things because it just has to do with the chemistry of the wine. And as the temperature warms up and the aromatics, the esters, the compounds are volatile. They get with oxygen, but they also warm up. You are simply going to smell and taste more. And if that's what you're going for, then that's your tip for white wine. Is get it up to that 55 degrees. Now, with reds, and this is one of my favorites, Antinori, one of my favorite producers out of Tuscany. We actually got to visit there a couple years ago, right, Mom? This is a great Chianti Classico. Temperature right now, 69, so a little warm. Right? Now, ideally, I would have this in my wine fridge, which is stored at like 60 degrees. And by the time I took it out, it'd be right at 65. But my sister and I opened this bottle last night and it was sitting on the kitchen counter, which was probably 70 to 72 degrees, right? So what I did about 15 minutes before hopping on with you guys is I put it in the fridge, the literal refrigerator. Now, apparently, I probably needed about 5 more minutes and we would have got to that, 65. We're at about 68, 69 on this right now. But let's see. Do the same thing with red wine that's too warm. How many different notes or things do you think you can smell or taste? And again, if you just say, well, Nikki, I don't even know what notes are. It just smells like wine to me. We got work to do, my friend, and that's okay. I got you. We're going to do this together. This is a journey. We're going to go week by week, tip by tip. And again, the cheat sheet that I've put together for you guys, and I'll put the link in the comments before I wrap up today, is just a cool, like one-sheeter, very simple PDF of some of the most important things that I've been able to put together over a decade of learning about wine and teaching other people about wine. So we'll get to that in your journey about learning how to identify what you're smelling and tasting. But, maybe it's one thing, but when the wine is at a cooler temperature, you're getting 5 things. That's important. So here's the bottom line, right? These are sort of textbook guidelines, the proper drinking temperatures of these wines. But I encourage you to experiment with it and try it at home. If you notice a difference, if you like what you're smelling and tasting more because it is at the proper temperature, 55 Fahrenheit or 65, then cool. You just learned something that's going to take your wine drinking to another level. If you don't like it better or it's amplifying, yeah, I can smell and taste more in that wine, but man, I really don't like that wine. You're welcome. Time to move on and find another wine. So that was just my tip that I wanted to come to today, talking about the importance of temperature. In the comments of this Facebook Live, I'm going to post a link here in just a minute that you can click on. And like I said, you can actually download this very cool Nikki's top wine tips cheat sheet that I've been working on for a little while for you. And there'll be more to come like that in the future. Also, if you have other topics or things that you'd like me to cover about wine, drop those in the comments too. And your topic may just be featured on a future Sip with Nikki as we move forward. So yeah, look for that comment. I'll be posting it momentarily. The link, it's also in the profile of my my Facebook profile here, so you can look for it there as well. I wanted to see if there were any other comments. Give me one second. Any other comments? All right, I think we look good. Hey, everybody, it's Friday. It's been a long week. Cheers, sip well, enjoy, and check out the comments below for my free cheat sheet. Have a great day.